Have you ever felt like you're just living a fragmented life? Juggling all these different roles, different jobs, different parts of yourself, and keeping them all in these separate, isolated boxes. Well, today we're going to explore a really powerful idea: how to move away from that exhausting separation and start building a unified, integrated life where everything finally connects.
And to really get a feel for this, let's rewind the clock a bit. We're going to look at what this kind of segregated life actually looks and feels like by following the story of Graham Farrer, a horticultural consultant and permaculture designer.
So our story starts back in 2012. And from the outside, everything looked pretty professional, pretty organized. But underneath it all, his life was built on this foundation of strict and, frankly, exhausting separation. His whole life was divided up into these boxes. You had the gardening job box over here, a completely separate tech hobbies box over there, and of course the personal problems box, which was kept as far away from the others as possible. It's a strategy a lot of us use, right, to try and manage a complex world. But, as we're about to see, it comes at a huge hidden cost. And this is where that cost becomes crystal clear. See, segregation, it isn't a strength, it's a trap. It just creates friction and isolation, and eventually it just leads to total exhaustion. But the alternative, integration, well, that promises the exact opposite: synergy, connection, and real, genuine resilience.
So, how in the world do you escape this trap? Well, the answer, maybe surprisingly, isn't found in some new productivity app or life hack. It's found by looking at the fundamental laws of the natural world itself.
The guiding principle actually comes from the world of permaculture, which is all about designing systems that are modeled on nature. And the principle is simple, but honestly, it's profound: integrate rather than segregate. Just that one shift in thinking can completely reshape how we approach our lives and our work.
And let's be really clear here. This isn't just some feel-good lifestyle tip. It is practically a biological law. I mean, integration isn't just an option. It's literally the engine that has driven the progress of all complex life on our planet for eons.
Okay, so how do we take this law of nature and actually apply it to the work we do every single day? Let's look at how this builds into a really powerful new model for our professional lives, something we can call the stacked professional.
So, instead of just performing separate, unrelated tasks, you can start to stack your services. Imagine this. You start with your main thing, on-site horticultural consulting. But while you're there, you layer on another service, like capturing some awesome drone imagery of the site. Then, you integrate that imagery directly into the web and social media design you're doing for that same client. See, each layer feeds the next.
And this is where the magic of the system really kicks in. You're not just doing more work, you're creating a smart, interconnected system. The relationships between your skills, that's what starts doing the heavy lifting for you. They multiply each other's value and can actually reduce your total workload.
And believe me, this principle goes way beyond your career. It actually starts with our own inner world and then radiates outward, making our communities stronger. It all has to begin internally, by mending those broken relationships within ourselves. We have to stop treating our health, our rest, and our work like they're competing priorities. Instead, we can design a life where our work actually supports our health, where it gardens our health, and a rest becomes the fuel for our creativity. You become a whole person, not just a collection of warring needs. And from that place of being internally whole, we can start to build what's called the social edge. This is all about building up resilience in our communities. We start moving away from being dependent on these fragile, distant systems by creating an integrated social network, a place where we share skills, build mutual trust, and support each other directly.
Okay, I know this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually start doing it? Let's break it down into a super simple, actionable 3-2-1 plan you can use to begin building your own unified system, starting, this week.
First up, you've got your 3 ethical filters. You can check any of your projects against these 3 questions. So ask yourself, 1, is this project using local integrated resources? 2, am I actively using this to mend the relationship between my own mind and body? And 3, am I helping skills and resources flow fairly within my community? These questions shift your focus from just an isolated outcome to the health of the entire system. All right, next up, number 2 is your principal applications. So you're going to apply the integration principle in 2 key zones. The first is zone 0. That's your internal life. Just find one segregated part of your day to integrate. A classic example is the walking meeting, right? It combines work and physical movement. The second is zone 1, your professional life. Look at 2 separate services you offer and find a creative way to stack them into one powerful integrated function.
And finally, we get to number 1, the one immediate yield.
This is where the change really becomes real. Your mission is to simply reach out to one person or group in your community and find one way to integrate a skill you have with a need that they have. That single connection, that is your yield. It's the first powerful step away from being a lone wolf and toward becoming part of a thriving, interconnected forest. Ultimately, the biggest takeaway here is this. We live in a world that is just full of extraordinary connections. By choosing to see them, to build them, and to integrate rather than segregate, we make sure that our own success isn't just some isolated event, but a vital part of a thriving and resilient whole. Which, it leaves us with one final question. This isn't just about doing more, it's about becoming more connected, more whole. So the real question is, are you ready to be whole?